So today's topic is really all things marketing and things you can easily implement in your business. We're also going to talk about TikTok and how you could grow a huge audience in a relatively short amount of time. And the best part is it's just about being yourself. If you're like an aspiring entrepreneur and you need to make money the quickest and you want to start a podcast, you would do biz dev and then get these people on your show, and then you could have partners come on that might be referral partners, right? So if you start thinking about all these avenues you can make and grow money, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have 1 million views like Megan's channel, right? Like she gets thousands and thousands. Like maybe you don't need to do that to make money, but whatever you're doing, figure out what the fastest path to making money is, because then you'll stay engaged with it. I think if you see the money coming from what you're doing, that is important to me, right? That
absolutely.
So that's the other thing people need to realize is that if you're going to do this kind of stuff, you need to be resilient. You're probably not going to go viral. You're probably not going to get attention for a while. But ultimately, if you follow the course and you provide value to people, you will make money.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is Vinney and Beau show, and we got great guests today. Beau, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. We're using Riverside today, a new tool. There's always new tools coming out, and Riverside is a better way than Zoom, better quality. So it's exciting to use this new recording studio, and we'll be able to edit and make really cool additions to the Vinney and Beau show. So today we have two great guests. We're going to be talking about Riverside. We're going to be talking about AI, including Claude, Bard, and ChatGPT. There's all these new AI tools coming out we're going to talk about. Using press releases to publicize your podcast. Blogging still works, according to Bill. It's a complement to your podcast and video channels. So we'll dive into that. So today's topic is really all things marketing and things you can easily implement in your business. We're also going to talk about TikTok and how you could grow a huge audience in a relatively short amount of time. And the best part is it's just about being yourself, right? People, if you're interesting, people will watch you. It could be cooking shows. Doesn't have to be business related where Vinney and I have more business related. It could be just fun. It could be around cooking. It could be around your lifestyle. So we're going to dive into all these things. So please welcome Bill and Megan to the show.
I wanted to say to Megan was picked up from TikTok into David Ramsey's show. Wow. So
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. David. Gordon Ramsay's show.
Yeah.
No, welcome. It's going to be an exciting show. And we're going to be doing this every week, by the way. We'll be recording a week before and then bringing the best of the best for you the following week, and we'll be releasing them all over the internet.
I love it. All right. So let's dive in first with ChatGPT and AI in general. We'll start with Bill. Bill, you and I have been working together for years. When ChatGPT rolled out, we started playing with it right away. Yep. But since it's been like 6 or 7 months that ChatGPT's been out, and there's been tons of tools made. And so what has the evolution looked like, and what tools are you now playing with, and what are your thoughts on ChatGPT versus these other tools?
Yeah, so ChatGPT's actually been out about 9 months now, maybe 10. I think it came out in December of last year, and it was all the rage. It was the fastest growing app of all time. I forget what the numbers were, but it was like, when you look at like Facebook to 1 million, Twitter to 1 million, ChatGPT to 1 million, it was like months to weeks to days. I think they got over 20 million users in like the first few days or weeks. It was crazy. So they had a big head start, right? And then Google, because they have all the information, rolled out theirs, which is called Bard. And it's very similar. I'd say it's a little better if you want more up-to-date information, because Google's a search engine and it has, again, all of the data. or a lot of the data. It is kind of, in essence, the World Wide Web. You can actually use your prompts to say stuff like, summarize this article, and you paste in the URL and it's done within seconds. And then there's Claude, which I just started using a few weeks ago. And right now, all of these have free versions. ChatGPT has like a Pro or a Plus version that's $20 a month. I think Claude has pricing, but I haven't used the premium model yet. I'm just starting. I'm seeing, pros and cons of using all three. But here's what I would say. I don't think any one is the best. What I would say is I would run whatever prompt you start with through all three, and kind of look at the output and see what makes sense, see what's the best to you, see what most resonates with your audience. I would do it that way. And you will get distinct output from all three. It's not like a rehash of some article somewhere. It's unique content.
So can I ask you a question? I know there was a cheat sheet that I looked at. It had like 70 different AI tools, and it had given different sleeves or skins, whatever you could call. So how do they work? I mean, they are specializing in certain areas. Bill, how does that work?
Yeah, I think that's what they do, is they actually specialize in certain areas for different kinds of communications. Like there might be blog tools and YouTube tools and transcription tools and research tools, code tools. Bard seems to have an edge. Although I haven't confirmed this, and I'm not a programmer. But from what I've read and heard, Bard seems to have an edge in like code generation and creating actual code that works. Whereas ChatGPT, sometimes you get mixed results and it's like, that didn't work. But again, I'm not a programmer, so I won't say that, either one is great or not great. It's your mileage will vary. And it also seems like day by day, your mileage may vary. I had been using a prompt for 6 months to write blog posts, drafts, in ChatGPT, and I hadn't changed a thing. And today, when I used it in prep for this show, it said 1,500 words is too long. I can't do that. So it said, please. So I basically just said, please shorten, and it shortened.
Yeah.
But the way around that kind of stuff is you got to be. A lot of people think that, I'm going to buy 800 prompts and I'm going to, rule the world. It doesn't work that way. They're called chatbots because you talk to them. And just like we're talking today, whatever I say might like prompt a question from you that takes us a little off tangent, and then we bring us back, and then another question might bring us off track, and we just keep navigating to the end result. Well, you gotta, like with everything in life, you gotta think about, what is my end game? Where do I want to go? It's like, if I want to go to Disneyland, if I want to, let me back up. If I want to have a fun trip with my family, I got to figure out where they want to go or what they want to do. And then I got to find a map that tells me how to get there. And there's a million ways to get to Disneyland, for example, right? How do I get there? Do we want to do things on the way? Do we want to stop at this place and this place and this place? Do we have 3 weeks or do we have 2 days? You got to change. So with these tools, you got to change your prompts based upon what you need to know, where it takes you. Sometimes it takes you off track and you got to bring it back. So when something says, your prompt is too long, or you're asking me to do too much, chunk it up like you would in real life. How do you eat an elephant? You ever heard that question? One bite at a time.
One bite at a time, for sure.
So break it into 5 pieces, and then break those 5 pieces into 5 pieces, and those 5 pieces into 5 pieces. And next thing you know, you've got, I don't know what the math is, but hundreds of questions, right? So that's how you tackle that.
And if you're using
the prompt, no, go ahead. I was going to say, like, sometimes I've used the same copy-paste prompts again, and I get more refined answers. And sometimes I like the second or the third better than the first. Has that happened?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that all the time. That's what you have to do. Listen, the AI is not a one-stop shop where it's gonna. The other thing too is you can't rely on, like, when we use it to write a script. If I just read the script, it's going to be boring on social media. You have to put your own flavor in this, and I think we all want to do things at scale, and we forget the fact that, like, you have to deliver interesting things. So sometimes just talking without a script is even better. So I think,
So let's segue a little bit into cooking, because that's where Megan's like made her mark for the most part on TikTok and other places. The best chefs in the world don't look at recipes. You can give them, like, and some of the shows, and they're fun to watch. You like, they'll give, like, the contestants 5 ingredients. You got to make something. And I'd be like, I'm out. I can't do that. Give me a recipe and I can follow it, right? But that's kind of how these tools are. It's like, what are the main things I want to pull out? Like, what are my ingredients, right? And then I will figure out how to put those together to build what I want to build.
Right. Or
everything.
Right. Or you can just use ChatGPT and say, hey, I need a viral recipe with this, this, and this. And I have gotten viral recipes out of ChatGPT before for, like,
what?
I made I said, create me a viral recipe. I have this, this, and this. And it got it was like a mango pudding, and it got like 40,000 views. So,
what?
I mean, yeah,
I've never used the word viral.
Thing. Yeah.
I would love to use that word. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Give me a viral recipe, just like you said, viral something. Interesting. Wow.
What I love about it is look, you can have an idea. You need to start with an idea. You put it in with some kind of prompt into the AI technology, right? It's going to spit off something. You're going to keep on prompting it until you get something that's somewhat of a finished product.
Yes.
And then you take it out.
Yeah.
Well, you can't just plug in and think that's going to be the end all be all. But like Bill and I, a couple of weeks ago, were like, hey, let's create a course on how to buy a franchise. And Bill and I finessed it, mostly Bill, in ChatGPT. We got a full 9-course module, right? So now and then Bill goes in, because Bill's a good editor, edits it. Now we have a finished product. I shot the first 30-second intro, and I shot the outro, and then I took the other stuff and I went to Fiverr. I found a guy's voiceover. He did the voiceover for each of the modules. Then I gave it to our editors, and they did a full edited. So we basically, in 1 hour and maybe 20 minutes of Bill setting it up in WordPress, we had a landing page with the course on it where people can opt in and so you have to be using you have to be using AI and just not copy and paste. You have to understand how to work with it. And the people that understand how to work with it, I think it's the amazing thing. And so I kind of want to dive into TikTok, Megan. And so what got you interested in TikTok? And then also, like, when you had your first like viral video, did you get hooked and you're just like, whoa, this could be something? At what point did you know you could monetize being an influencer on TikTok?
Wow. So I started my TikTok about a year ago, and I would say I posted maybe a handful of videos before my first video went viral. And it is addicting after that, when you see your video getting into the thousands and thousands and thousands of views. And I mean, it's crazy. I went from 73 followers to I have now over 135,000.
Wow.
And yeah, and it's just from being myself, making little videos, creating, things that people want to see, things that, and we talk about our why a lot and why we do it, but I think it's also important to think about our who, and who is watching these videos. What are they doing right now? Do they have kids? Did they just put their kids to bed? Did they, are they working a 9 to 5? Are they on their computer right now? So you kind of have to think about that. And then that combined with hashtags and just interesting content has been a magical recipe.
So after you got, you started getting success, you started having brands reach out to you and say, "Hey, would you do a collaboration?"
Yes.
So now, so you've made some money now. You see that this could be a gold mine eventually, right? Where it could be a six-figure revenue type of business. So what's going on in your mind right now, and how can you strategically grow it instead of waiting for these brands to reach out? Give us some tips on like your thought process on growing the channel from 130,000 subs to 1 million and start really crushing it.
Right. So I think that my plan is going to be to start to reach out to, because I've been doing a lot of just waiting around, and companies have reached out to me. I made a video, and you kind of have to just make videos for what you want to do. So if I wanted like a partnership with, Dyson, for example, like I would do cleaning videos, and I would, revolve around that and start acting like I'm already getting paid for making those type of videos. And even if it's not a paid ad, just do it. And then companies will find you. And, I've had really great luck. Like I did a video with some Pillsbury cinnamon rolls, and it has over 8 million views. And I got a sponsorship from Pillsbury out of that video. And so now I'm working with Pillsbury on a campaign starting in January. And, it's just little things like that. But I think that, reaching out, because I get a lot of emails from products and companies that have absolutely nothing to do with what I do. And you have to start, and I used to say yes to everything. And now I'm starting to be more selective about what, does it match my brand? Is it, am I going to lose followers if I post XYZ that makes no sense? Or, so now I have to start thinking about protecting my follower base and, just sticking with what they know and what they want to see. So yeah, I think I'm going to start going after companies that I really want to work with and saying, hey, I'm an influencer. And I have started doing that already and have gotten a lot of free product but I think I really need to step up that game.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, this is another thing here too, is what we're talking about. Blogs still work, Bill. And so what can we do if we're producing YouTube videos or you have a podcast? Talk about some supercharge turbo strategies that people should be doing, because if you're doing the work once with your YouTube show or podcast or your TikTok videos, how can we best get more mileage out of the content we're already doing, right? Like if I just post on TikTok, it's only going to be on TikTok, and that's great if you can go viral. But some of our content isn't that fun, right? But we still want to leverage it as much as possible. What are some tips and tricks that are working today with using that content in blogs and growing a blog channel?
Yeah, so I think Megan sort of alluded to it earlier when she was talking about the who, right? Who is following you? Who is looking at your content? Who's consuming your content, and how are they consuming your content? Obviously, if you're on TikTok and you got 8 million views, that's where your audience is. But that's not all your audience. You're missing out if you're not publishing a blog, if you're not on Facebook, if you're not on Instagram. And, honestly, producing the video takes a lot of time, takes a lot of prep. You got to think about what you're going to do. Again, what is your end result? What do you want? And then you got to go do it. You got to edit it, render it, publish it. And the publication is pretty easy. Most of these platforms have, you can upload easily by just dragging and dropping a file. Adding hashtags can be, sometimes you can copy and paste, but you need to tailor them to the content. You need to add on TikTok, you need to add them one by one, which is a pain in the ass. But you have to do it. But again, publishing a 5-minute video or a 10-minute video on TikTok takes all of 2 minutes, maybe. And then you got to think about, okay, what do I do to promote that? Well, TikTok's algorithm does all the promotion for you. Same as if you write a book on Amazon, their algorithm does all the work for you. They email customers, they put it in the, in their feed, all that kind of stuff. You don't have to do a lot of promotion. With a blog, you have to do more promotion, but backing up a little bit, getting back to the who, not all of your audience or potential audience, there's a big world out there, right? And this TikTok is this big, Facebook is this big, and there's overlap. But, if you look at it like a Venn diagram, there's a big pie out there, and you're not reaching the entire pie if you're not posting to all these different channels. Now, don't get confused or misled that you need to publish everywhere. I'm not a proponent of that, but I am a proponent of repurposing your content. So if you make it, use it. Don't put you don't have to put a huge amount of effort into writing the perfect blog post when you already have a video. So what I do and what I recommend to most people is, because you're going to get that audience who, a lot of people will watch a video. You see people say all the time, well, you need captions on videos because people don't listen to it. They read the captions and they watch the video, but maybe they're in bed at night with their partner or whatever. They don't want to wake them up, or maybe they have kids and they don't want to have the TV on, or, whatever. So you got to balance that, and you got to find what's right for you. So I would say concentrate like on one video channel, whether that's YouTube or TikTok, or it's images, Instagram, Reels, whatever. And then repurpose that content using a blog. And it's really easy if you use a platform like WordPress. You can essentially take the same text content that you use in your video, write a blog post, obviously flesh it out. You could even take the transcript. You could even use AI to summarize and pull out bullet points that you could put in your blog post. And then embed the video in your blog post, publish it, and then just send that link to your friends. I mean, start out that way. Hey, can you read this blog post? Odds are they're going to read the blog post and watch the video. So that's what I would do. Nothing spectacular or super secret about it. It's just reuse your content. It's already there. It's good. You've proven it on TikTok. If you got 8 million views, are you going to get 8 million views to your blog post? Probably not.
Right.
But you might get several thousand of people who never would have seen you. And then they go to TikTok and go, oh, I want to subscribe to this channel. Now you got more followers.
Right.
That's how you grow. That's how you grow your audience.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that because Megan's already, grown so quick on TikTok, it's obviously she should put 85% of her efforts into TikTok, but it's simple to repurpose to a certain degree. And like that could get you that one brand deal that you never thought possible. They came in through the back door. And so I would do that just for that fact. Like for me, I get the best results on YouTube. So I spend 80% of my time on YouTube. And I think, so here's the question though, like, so somebody like Vinney, right? Who's really his target audience is somebody wealthy that's an accredited investor. I don't think TikTok would be the best platform for him. He might get views if he was doing some charismatic videos, but he's really not going to. So I think you need to know like who's going to be watching it and what's the benefit. Like cooking stuff. I watched this one guy and he shows you home remedies, and he'll take like a pineapple pit and grow a pineapple, and I'm like he does really awesome TikTok videos. But that's always been my challenge with TikTok, is that I'm not doing like really personable type of like entertaining type of videos, right? So I think you really got to figure out where your audience is, and then when you get some traction, then you obviously double down and triple down on that type of stuff. I think that's the way to do it.
So if I can interject, I think Vinney would be best served on TikTok using his positivity, motivational speaking background, getting an audience for that, and that will help sell his book.
And that funnels people into his other, businesses as well.
Possibly.
Yeah.
And then on YouTube, focus on the accredited investors.
Yeah, that's good. I like that, right? Because Vinney could have like all positivity stuff and like fun stuff where people are like, oh, I love watching this guy. He's so happy. He's always smiling. But if you try to do stiff, like, hey, you want to be a multi-millionaire and buy apartments?
Yeah.
You get some views, but you're not like what Thatch does. Thatch Win, he's a Vietnamese guy and he does really cool stuff, but he's flashy. He's got his like Lamborghini type cars, but he's like a real deal kind of real estate influencer. But I think really for Vinny's demographic, yeah, the positivity was dead on for like the TikTok stuff. I definitely.
All right. More of that coming. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
and you can also talk about, like we talked, Megan and I recently had Vinney on our podcast, and here's the plug, Two Guys Talking. So go look for it.
Yeah.
And he was great, and we got a lot of great feedback. But forgot where I was going with this. I did the plug and got all confused. But he did a lot of what I would call life hacks. Like, smile and do this before that, and he talked about the past is ashes, and that's a really good way to think of things and kind of put things in perspective. So he could do stuff like that on TikTok, and that would make an impact.
Yeah, and
We'll do it.
Taking little bits. Yeah, just even taking little bits of what we have or what we've created here, and just taking that and throwing it on YouTube just to tease, or TikTok or Instagram or whatever, just to tease people about what we're talking about, and they will go, like I do it all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm interested in that, and then I go and follow them on wherever. Yeah.
So if we want to circle around back to Riverside and show how that really, what Megan just said is super, super easy in Riverside. So there's two ways. So in Riverside, I'll just give you a quick overview of how it works. And I'll tell you the difference between it and Zoom. And I'm not disparaging Zoom. I think Zoom's great. Zoom did great during the pandemic. I still use it. I will always use it. But for podcasting and like high quality, like interactive type videos like these, I would always go Riverside. Number one, the video quality is better. Number two, the audio quality is better. And number three, they have a lot better. Well, they have tools in the app that Zoom doesn't have, that to my knowledge. So what happens is the four of us right now we have our own kind of like recording going on. It's on our local machine. And even if we look blurry to each other while we're watching, like a few seconds ago, Vinney was blurry and Megan was blurry, but Vinney said that I was blurry and Megan was blurry and he wasn't and Beau wasn't. It's because of the bandwidth going up and down to the internet and the streaming part, but the local recordings are happening on your computer. So no matter how bad your internet connection is, the connection between your camera, your mic, and your hard drive is like that long, right? It's a big tube. You're going to get a great recording. And then what happens is Riverside takes the four recordings here, pulls them up into the cloud, merges them into one, right? Yeah. And then you can use that one video. Or what I do often is I'll take the four separate videos, because the four separate videos also get uploaded. So if you have 8 people on a stream, you're going to get 8 videos.
Wow.
You take all those separate videos and you load them into your video editor, whatever it happens to be, and you can do a great, pretty quick, like a 50-minute show took like an hour for me to edit intros, outros, snippets, all sorts of stuff inside of it. And it was really cool. Now, caveat, when you want to do it that way, like with all the separate audio and video feeds, you have to use an external editor. Like I use Camtasia. But
what are you training yours?
Camtasia.
Okay.
Camtasia is very elaborate from what I understand. Yeah, it's very good.
It's a staple. I use it all the time. However, Riverside has 2 really neat features built into the app. Number one is they have this thing called Magic Clips, and it's in beta. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, but what it does is it will essentially and I don't know how it does it, probably AI. It takes little snippets, little clips, they call them clips, of your entire video. So let's say you have an hour-long video, it might make 8 or 10 clips that are anywhere from 15 to 2 minutes long, and it puts them in the portrait mode, so you can upload it as a YouTube short or a TikTok or a reel. It puts captions on it. You can have it so that the main speaker, whoever's speaking at the moment, is in the main screen, and the other people on the call are somewhere else, like in a little cutout. And then when they start talking, they come on, and you go up there. Those are magic clips, and they're not perfect, but they're a way to get videos out really, really quickly. And then the other way is you could just make your own clips. So you take that big, that one merged file that I told you about, you take that one and you can make your own clips. And it's really neat because on the left-hand side of the screen is the transcript. On the right-hand side of the screen is the whole video. So you can actually go search for, hey, Vinney said something about ashes. So you type in ashes, it will go to the 5 places where you said ashes. It will mark those on the timeline of the video, and you can go to any point in there. You can split the video when he's done talking. You can go down, see if you can make any video 55 seconds by just scrolling down through the transcript and find where you want to stop, and you just basically split the video on both sides, and you say export, and in 10 or 15, 20 minutes, it emails you and says it's ready.
Wow.
So I would play around with it. I would play around with it, but I'm not I don't have the patience to ever edit anything in my life. I'll play around with it so I can figure it out and tell the editor, because I'm never gonna I would get so frustrated doing that, right? And so who not house, but it's good to know this. I want to know the tools, because then you can have your editors do it, right? And so
right.
So Megan, do you edit your own TikToks?
Actually, I have a 12-year-old daughter that edits my TikToks.
Is she on payroll?
She is on payroll.
Okay, because you can write that off. You can write off up to 12,000, right?
Yeah, 12,000.
That's the other thing too, is that Megan and I had a scheduled call because we were talking about financing, and at the end of the call, I was like, "Man, this is my best work ever." I was like, and I didn't hit record. So the point is
right.
So Evan Carmichael, he always does these type of. He says there's you should do these type of, when you're doing YouTube. He's got 3.5 million subscribers, and he has a team of 50 or 60 now. He started with nothing, right? And he just follow the system. But he always talks about coaching shows, right? That was a perfect example of me doing a coaching show, where that content wasn't thought, it was just a conversation. So I need to start recording those things. So if you're watching this in the future here, and you're thinking well, what can I do? Just think biz dev shows. Figure out what you do. The biz dev show is, I'm in the loan business. I'm gonna bring on a banker, and we're gonna talk about how to structure deals. That's a business development show, and I could do business with this guy. Or I bring on a business owner. That's another business development show. So I'm bringing this business owner on the show to be a guest to talk about how he grew this construction company, and I might be able to get his loans from that, right? So you can be very creative on how you get business. So that's the fastest way to money. If you're starting a podcast, is to do business development shows. So you bring on avatar clients, you interview them, and then ninja style, you try to get them on your show, right? Evan Carmichael teaches all this stuff, and he's so true. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur and you need to make money the quickest, and you want to start a podcast, you would do biz dev and then get these people on your show, and then you could have partners come on that might be referral partners, right? So if you start thinking about all these avenues you can make and grow money, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have 1 million views, like Megan's channel, right? She gets thousands and thousands. maybe you don't need to do that to make money, but whatever you're doing, figure out what the fastest path to making money is, because then you'll stay engaged with it. I think
Right.
if you see the money coming from what you're doing, that is important to me, right?
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and you also have to know you have to do, typically you're not going to go viral on your first couple uploads. You have to know if you're doing a YouTube channel or a podcast, you need to do 100 before somebody even listens to it, basically. So that's the other thing people need to realize is that if you're going to do this kind of stuff, you need to be resilient. You're probably not going to go viral. You're probably not going to get attention for a while. But ultimately, if you follow the course and you provide value to people, you will make money. That's the biggest thing. And so
I think that's the big thing what you just said, value. I mean, who is your avatar, what you're giving. You have a lot of things that you're good at, but what will be meaningful to the people who watch or listen? I think that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also got to think about, okay, what do they want? How do I give it to them? Sometimes that's a product. Sometimes that's a service, right? So Megan might provide like affiliate type products, like, whatever. Name something that you've sponsored, like the Pillsbury.
Yeah. Cinnamon roll. Yeah.
You could potentially have an affiliate relationship there where if they use your special link, you get, 10 cents or something, right?
Yeah. I do a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Think about that transaction and then do the math and think about a Beau or a Vinney transaction where, I'm going to tell you the end game here first, and then I'll talk about how we get there, right? The end game is, if you're here to earn income, right? You may not need 1 million views. You may need 100. You may need one. It has to be the right one, right? So with Beau's average transaction is not 10 cents or $1 or 10. It's let's just say thousands. Vinney's might be hundreds of thousands, right?
Yeah.
All he needs is one person to look at an apartment syndication or a senior living video that says, I want to invest with that guy, right? I'm going to give him $2 million. How many of those guys do you need? How many views do you need to get those guys? And so the way you position your videos and where you put them also plays into that, right? You're not going to put that kind of video. Maybe you can, but I haven't seen it yet. You're not going to put that kind of video on TikTok versus maybe on YouTube or on your own website, right?
Right.
Whereas Megan needs thousands of views to get transactions. She needs those transactions. You guys aren't numbers of transactions, your size of transactions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all numbers. I mean, when Vinney might close a deal, he might make 7 figures, right? Like versus, so really the value of getting in front of that one avatar is so much more important. That one avatar, he can create one piece of content that goes out and it's a billionaire, right? And then Vinney becomes friends and starts doing business with this billionaire. And every transaction Vinney does, this billionaire is putting $2 or $3 or $4 million into every single one. The value of that person is amazing. The lifetime value of my client might be 6 figures, maybe over the life of that person. I might make 6 figures from one good client, right? So you just think about just getting one new client in the door, plus the referrals and the repeat business, right? Because I sell money. But we're coming up on our half hour. I actually passed it. Yeah. Let's go into Megan. If you had to give anybody advice about, putting yourself out there and getting started, like what would it be? Because something inside you said, okay, I want to start doing TikTok, and what was it? And then what advice do you have for somebody getting out there who doesn't have any presence on social media?
I think I started it just because we moved to a small town and, there was no restaurant, there was no grocery store, there was nowhere for me to, live the lifestyle that I was used to living. So I started a TikTok and I just started documenting my honest process of what I was doing, and people just started watching it. And I think that the most important thing is to be yourself. and to, just be true to who you are. And if you lose some followers because you post a video that is something that is important to you, then those weren't your followers in the beginning. So I think that just, honestly being true to who you are. And then, there's lots of little tricks and tips, and I've talked to a lot of influencers who have, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million followers, and they post on a schedule, and they post like at 5:00 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or they post at, on, every day at 8:00 or something like that. And then people get used to that. And then TikTok pays attention to that. I don't know if the other platforms do, but TikTok will then push your videos if you are posting on a schedule, because they see that you're trying to do something or create something, and then they start pushing that. And you can also pay for, like, if you have a video that you think should get a lot of views and you haven't been getting a lot of views lately, you can pay like $20 to promote your video and then get thousands of views just for promoting one video. So,
yeah, stop. I don't.
So those are great tips.
Thank you. Vinney has somebody coming to him. Right. Okay.
Let's have that part out.
I'm my partner here. Craig is here, guys.
Hey, Craig, how's it going?
This is towards the bottom of the show. Bottom of the show here. Megan is there, Bill, and then Beau right over here. Yeah. No, it was such a great show, guys. Thank you so much for your content. Bill, thank you. Megan, thank you. And, we are looking forward to having some really great, follow-ups on this one. And thank you, Beau, again, from Henderson, brother.
Happy to be on your show finally. I'm a long-time fan, and I watch all your guys' content. It's awesome. We're very, very, very invested in our community.
It's wonderful to be here.
This is Big Chopra and also my good buddy, OXP. And we are so happy.
It's amazing what's going to happen. So, we're amped up to do the show, and we got a lot of hype about the guest today, so I'm excited.
Oh, I know. So excited to come live to you all. Live 9:30 every Friday.